All right, guys, welcome to the Vacarya Academy, where I'm going to show exactly how to start, run, and grow a profitable Airbnb short-term rental business. My name is Aiden Weir. I am one of 3 partners here at Vacarya with Aaron and Karsten as well. We have launched over 600 Airbnb properties the last few years, with just about 300 of them being for our clients. And our current portfolio generates about $1.3 million every month in active bookings. That means we have quite literally made every single mistake you could possibly think of running this business model, which is great for you though, because you should be able to reduce your mistakes and condense the learning curve it takes to actually, get to profit in this model in really good time, simply just by being in this community, because we've already made all these mistakes. And before we begin, if you are a little skeptical about this model, I actually don't blame you. I get it. Most people in the Airbnb online space are, just selling coaching and saying you'll get rich if you just buy my course and all that stuff. But all of that aside, the foundations of rental arbitrage, Airbnb in general, is actually extremely solid. And as this video goes on, I believe that you are going to get extremely excited about Airbnb, to be honest. And if you have any opinions or, thoughts on rental arbitrage, the business model itself going into this, I think that by the end of this video, you will probably have a different opinion on this business model as a whole. So anyways, I'll explain all of that stuff as the video goes on. So without further ado, I'm going to switch over to our presentation and let's just get into it. So welcome to the Vacarya Academy, where I will show you step by step how to start a profitable Airbnb business. You will get the exact framework we've refined from launching over 600 properties across 21 cities. It's actually, I think, 25 now since I started making these slides. We've helped over 150 clients build and launch profitable Airbnb businesses over the last few years. We have locations in Canada, the US, a couple in Korea, some in Dubai, but our bread and butter is mostly US. We have about 75% of our portfolio and 100% of our clients' portfolio operating in the US. Now, this will be the longest video in this series. The rest is very tactical, but it's important you watch this one all the way through so you have the context for everything that comes next. So watch it in 2 times speed if you have to, but please don't skip this one. So here are the 3 creators of Vacarya. We have Aaron, myself, and Karsten. Still not sure if I'm the diversity hire. You will learn more about us and Vacarya throughout this course, but at the top here we have, the truth is we had more Airbnb deals than we could take on ourselves, and instead of keeping everything in-house, we saw a bigger opportunity to create a way for others to win too. That's how Vacarya started. Our clients launched strong cash flowing businesses using our systems, and we're also able to keep growing without the weight of managing every property ourselves. So everyone wins. And at its core, rental arbitrage, Airbnb arbitrage, whatever buzzword you want to use, it's actually pretty straightforward, right? You sign a lease, rent a property from a landlord at a set monthly rate, you list on Airbnb, VRBO, booking.com, direct booking is everything, but for simplicity's sake, Airbnb, for nightly stays, short-term rentals. The guest stays and the guest pays a higher nightly rate than your monthly rent, your fixed costs, and you make money. You keep the difference as a profit. With the right setup, this model becomes a strong cash flowing business that can be run 100% remotely. I'm in Dubai right now. You can probably tell with the sandstone buildings in the back. But as I said, we're in Canada, US, Korea, here. And it's all operating as we speak. So with the right systems in place, this can 100% be ran remotely. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And before I even begin, I know we touched base on this, but I want to beat a dead horse here. There are 2 versions of Airbnb online, okay? One is the Instagram coach fantasy version, like look at my Lamborghini, just buy my thing and you'll become an Airbnb millionaire and you can travel the world, blah, 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 blah. The other is the actual business, right? The hospitality business. This is the actual business, what I'm about to show you, behind the curtains, what it really takes to win here. And you do not need to quit your job, okay, to start this. That is, a very common question that I get. You can do this in a controlled, strategic way to minimize risk, and you can start small. Some people have goals of, creating a large short-term rental business, and some people just want a few locations to supplement their income. right? Like a side hustle. Neither is right or wrong. I just want you to know right from the get-go. You don't need to make any rash, like bold risks or anything like that. Like you can just start and keep your job. Okay. In a world where anyone can claim anything online, like I've been just doing, I'm just this guy on the screen to you right now with a weird mustache. You don't know me. You don't trust me yet. Here is where we are at today. So within the last 30 days, our portfolio is at $1.18 million in booking value. Right now, it is January, almost February at the time of this recording, going into June, July, August. Obviously, this ramps up pretty high, but this is where we are right now. Our clients are generating 1.2 million, leveraging our systems, our units that we're finding for them, all of that. I was trying to find a way to actually show you this on the Airbnb website, but obviously we have sensitive information with all of our clients, right? So I can't really show you the numbers outside of a screenshot. But if I just go to the Airbnb app right here, or the website, these are all the listings. These are real clients, real units, making real money right now. I could keep scrolling, but I think you get the point. On top of that, as I said, we can do this 100% remotely, but I also do travel around myself to personally help set these up for our clients. We've done this a million times now, so I don't actually need to be there, but I do enjoy doing it because I get a chance to go there, pull back the curtain and actually show everyone what is going on behind the scenes when you're setting up an Airbnb, as opposed to, just posting screenshots of cherry-picked revenue or bookings, stuff like that. I think we are trying to do the opposite, right? I'm trying to show people the real business behind the scenes. It's a disaster in here. It's the part they don't show you about Airbnb. What even is this? You really want to do this alone? God. This was nice in general, hey? Like just how you can see right down the street. So that was one of our recent setups in Cleveland. It actually was a 10-unit setup. They turned out really good. As you can see in the middle of the setup phase, it's an absolute nightmare. Boxes everywhere. And we handle this part. Our clients just get the keys to the finished product and they start making money today. Now, some of those clients, being Josh, we actually set that unit up for him that I just showed you.
Well, if I told you that in less than 12 months, we'd be hitting just under $90,000 USD per month. I wouldn't have believed it, but here we are.
My first Airbnb went live in just 5 days, and I got my first booking within the first hour. I now have 9 units across 4 US cities, with 4 more on the way next month.
Rob.
My first Airbnb was live in only 10 days. I am now up to 9 properties, which generated me $70K last month.
My name is Kajana, and I work in Mississauga. I started with Vacarya April of last year. Going live on Airbnb took 15 days.
And on top of that, we also just have, people winning in the community that you're in right now. So like you're probably like, yeah, Aiden, that's great. Your clients are doing this, but how's this going to help me? Well, we also have Alex, Habib, and these are just a few examples, ones that I just pulled to make these slides. We have tons and tons more. And to get to the point where we can build Airbnb businesses that perform at this level and help other people achieve the same results, we've invested hundreds of thousands learning from some of the best people in the business world. So you don't have to. Then we bring everything we learn back here and share it. As you can see here, we've worked with the acquisition.com team as a whole, and not just like some random one-day course or anything like that, right? Like we've actually worked with them to identify the constraints in our business, but the business model in general, so we can keep growing, we can keep providing a better service for our clients. There's Hermosi looking jacked from behind. And I'm not trying to boast or anything here, saying like, oh, look at us, we've done all these things. We are who we say we are. As I said before, in a world where anyone can claim anything, I just want to take a minute to show you that, we actually do this for real. Meaning, if you take action on the information in all the upcoming videos, there is logically no valid reason why you can't succeed here as well. There's just not. We've done it time and time and time again, and we've helped others do it time and time again, hundreds of times now, actually. And while everyone out there is trying to sell you some Airbnb program for $25,000 or something crazy, I am making a statement today, making this 100% free with 100% transparency, which raises the obvious question, why free? Like, what's the catch? Okay, it's free. Why? Here's why. Because my goal with this community is impact, not income, okay? I'm just being honest with you. I want to be the one to create the best Airbnb resource in the industry, okay? I want Vacarya to have that. This is not a monetary play. I'm not a bad marketer. If I wanted to sell this, I could just put a nice bow on the top, put some nice sales copy and, pitch it and people would jump in. But I believe that's short-term thinking. I want to be the one who built the most useful Airbnb resource in the industry, because when you create that much value, everything else follows. So in the name of acquisition.com, this is my version of the $100 million book series, okay? I'm trying to create something epic in this industry. And obviously, I want to help you guys as well. Like, I truly do get joy out of that, like helping people succeed. I just wanted to lay all my cards out, like this is it. You know what I mean? Those are my incentives. Moving on, Airbnb as a whole really did completely change my life. That is an irrefutable fact. It is the sole reason behind any success that I've had in business in any degree. If I didn't take a chance on Airbnb, I would just still be working my old job from way back when, right? The problem is most people who have found success with Airbnb, similar to us, hide this information behind expensive paywalls, and Airbnb coaches are trying to sell you a pipe dream, okay? That's the problem. And my goal here is to remove the problems and give it all away for free so anyone, anywhere can access it and succeed if they take action. Keywords, take action. It's going to be a reoccurring theme throughout these videos. Also, if I help you win first, if the time comes, you will know exactly who to trust if you want help. Meaning I can only win if I help you win first for free. Now, our monthly cohorts are full every month pretty much for new clients, but some of you guys will, go down this rabbit hole of Airbnb and, start growing a business, and maybe you want to partner with us and we can grow together, right? And like I was saying, guys, the truth is Airbnb gave me time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, but the actual execution itself was not the hard part. The hard part was the uncertainty, the constant reach trying to get the right information, the trial and error, all the costly mistakes, which were honestly avoidable in retrospect, which is why, aside from all the points that I have here in the slideshow, I do feel like I have a bit of a responsibility to, share all this, because for the right person who commits, who takes action, there's no reason why this can't change their life the same way that it changed mine. And I want you to think about that logically, right? If you do the same inputs that we are doing, okay, because I'm teaching you them, it is unreasonable that you won't have the same output, okay? Maybe not to the same scale. Even if you operated at 10% the way we were, you would be at 38 locations. That's a lot of money. Even if you were operating at 1%, that's 3.8 locations, let's say 4. That's enough to replace, someone's 9 to 5, assuming they're the right properties. And I mean that. So even if you execute at 1% of our operating power right now, you will be in a good spot. Now, that might be a weird way to try and inspire you, but it's true. If you do this and you try and you take action, it's unlikely, statistically, that you don't do good, you don't win. Okay? And then by you winning, I win too, because we get to spread brand awareness for Vacarya, goodwill, all of that good stuff. You obviously get to make money, which is fantastic. So yeah, let's do it. Here's what we're going to be going through in just this video. So number one is understanding the model. I touched base on the model briefly at the beginning, but I'm going to go into this in the extreme detail for both what it actually is, why it's so powerful, how it compares to traditional real estate investing, hopefully break some misconceptions that you have. Number two is the training overview. This is a quick one. I'm just going to show you what we'll be actually covering throughout the video series itself. We have what you'll get, which is exactly that, like what you get access to being a member in this community. And 4 is setting your goal. So it's great that I can talk to you all day through the screen about theory, but I do want you to set some sort of tangible tactical goal. And I think anyways, I've created a couple of cool ways to help you do that. But before we even get into all that, okay, why should you listen to me in the first place? Why should you even be a part of this community? Because right now, you're probably like, yeah, that's great, Aiden, you and your partners are doing good and your clients are doing good and all that stuff, but how is that helping me? Like, why should I even listen to you? Well, let me quickly tell you how I got here, because you might be surprised that I may have a very similar story to the situation that you're in right now. And if we're going to sit together virtually through the next 8 videos or so, I do think it's worth you at least knowing who you're listening to and how they got there, right? I'm not some, dude who secretly had his dad's funding, blah, 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 like, and Aaron and Carson aren't either. I actually had a, pretty damn rough time getting started. So a good few years ago, I quit my 150K a year job in the nuclear industry to start an Airbnb business. We used to do really cool work directly on the reactor face. You can see on the right here, I'm in the airlock in between the public space and confined radioactive space. But long before that, there was a time when everything I did was aimed at getting this job. Everything. It was a company named Ontario Power Generation. And if you're from like the Toronto area, Greater Toronto area, you'll know this name, obviously. But where I grew up, just outside Toronto, that job meant like you made it, okay? Think firefighting. It carried the same prestige, Like, oh, you're an OPG, whew, you're set for life. They don't even ask what job title, okay? If you have that OPG, if you wear the sweater, if you got, oh, you're set for life, okay? 6 figures, pension, benefits, unionized, ultimately easy. The best way to explain it is your parents didn't worry about you anymore once you got in. Obviously, I'm an adult now, but that's the best way to explain it. And after making it to the final round of candidates, okay, I didn't get hired. My only goal was to get this job. I went to school exclusively for this job in health physics, radiation protection. Everything I did was aimed at this job. So I took the closest thing I could. I worked at their sister's company that was created to find solutions for the radioactive waste. I spent my days ripping apart supercompressed bales of radioactive garbage from the 1960s in a shower cap and a respirator. I wish I was kidding, guys. This is actually embarrassing to me. I'm not even gonna lie. I really wasn't sure if I was gonna throw this in here because it was so embarrassing. You see on the right here, that was super compacted waste from the 1960s. I don't even know what was in there. Like outside of the radiation, the obvious radiation, everything else, like what is in there? And that is also where my mustache came from, because in that place you had to wear a seal, or you had to at least be prepared to wear a seal if you had to go into the containment tents. So before this, I had a really long beard when I was younger, and I just didn't want to shave my face all the way because I looked like a kid. So I kept the mustache, and then within the next few weeks, like here's a joke, within the next few weeks, like everyone started getting a mustache, and we had like a little mustache cult there. And then I just had it for so long that it just looks normal to me, and now I can't get rid of it. Anyways, I worked my way up, but still, the plan was the same, guys. Once I get into OPG, I'll be set for life. That's what I thought there. Some minor setback, I'll work at the sister company, I'll gain some experience. Once I get into OPG, I'll be set for life. Once I get into OPG, I'll be set for life. A year later, the call finally came. I did get the job. Hooray. 6 figures, full pension, full benefits. I made it. For a while, I told myself I had won, but I couldn't shake the feeling. Like, is this all there is? I made it, I thought. Like, that's what everyone told me. Like, congrats, you made it. So why don't I feel that way? I genuinely felt guilty for feeling discontent with the life that others would love to have. I had the job, I had the money, I had the prestige that even came with the job. It's like, why do I feel like this? And I just couldn't shake it. And then one night, it all hit me at once. It was the 11th hour of my shift. I was sitting in an old leather chair in the bunkers near one of the reactor units. No windows, guys, just cold concrete walls and a fluorescent light above me that buzzed like it hasn't been changed since the 1960s. Because it hasn't. This was a concrete prison. No windows anywhere. To my right, a couple of guys were arguing about overtime, just waiting out the years, measuring their lives in pay stubs and seniority. So I'm just sitting there. There's 2 guys arguing. I'll never forget this pivotal moment. There's a light above me just buzzing. Zzz, it shakes. It's exactly what you think about in your head when you think about a bunker. There's no windows. I'm in this old leather chair that is beat up because so many people have sat on it all day, doing nothing, just waiting for retirement and arguing about overtime hours, just like these 2 were. And in that exact moment, I crossed a line in my head I couldn't return from. It permanently changed the direction of my life. It was just an acceptance, okay? I spent years working towards this job, years, 5 years, more probably. Everyone is going to think I'm making a huge mistake. Everyone's going to call me an idiot, but I can no longer be here. Okay, it was an acceptance. I can no longer be here. If I don't take a chance on myself, if I don't at least try, I will be here forever. Those two guys that are arguing about overtime was my future. That was it. How couldn't it be, right? We're in the same spot, we're the same job. That's my future. If I don't take a chance on myself, I will live in regret and everyone around me would suffer because I was too scared to bet on myself. And when I played this scenario all the way out, I realized I actually didn't have a choice. I could live with failing, okay? But I couldn't accept not even trying. I couldn't. If I played this scenario all the way out to 60-year-old Aiden, stayed safe in the power plant, didn't bump into the walls too much, didn't ruffle any feathers, just stayed there, maybe got a dog, got a house nearby, and then that's it. Like, is that as far as my ambition goes? Like, I can't even think about it now. Like, it bothers me to my core. And it did. So I quit. I walked away from the job and put every dollar I had into my Airbnb business and burned the boats behind me. Now, caveat here, interruption. You do not have to do this, and I am not glorifying reckless risk, okay? This was objectively stupid, but it did happen, okay? I am not saying quit your job, but I had a noise in my head. I had a voice in my head that was at the back, and it got so loud that I had to do it. I had to take action. So while my friends were buying houses and getting married, I was living in my cousin's basement with 6 feet ceilings I could touch flat palmed, literally, and I'm 5'9" for reference, spending every hour on something that I wasn't even sure would work. And remember, I had a good job. Everyone's buying houses, cottages, getting married, getting cool toys, all that stuff. And I shrunk into this humiliating basement, to be honest with you, so I could not worry about money because I had low rent, low car payment on my 2013 car at the time, and just breathe and try to do this without any economic stress, But it was really humbling and embarrassing, to be honest. Like sitting at the dinner table with your girlfriend at the time and her parents, like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I quit my 150K job. I'm living in a tragic basement an hour from Toronto in nowhere land. Yeah, maybe I'll figure it out. And at the bottom here, this was at the end, okay? This was when I finally moved, okay? That's the best it looked. I got a nice monitor, a nicer table, but you get the point, okay? And at first it was chaos. I lost thousands of dollars, made every mistake in the book. Landlords laughed in my face, the whole 9 yards, guys, okay? At the right, you can see me trying to create some sort of pricing strategy. At the bottom here, you can see, what is that one? I'm trying to create the email scripts, the first drafts of the email scripts that I have for you guys, by the way. All of that stuff I have for you 100% for free later on in the video series. What did I say here? I probably reached out to over 300 buildings just last night alone. Finally had a call and messed up so bad I wish I could erase it from my memory. Can't go back now though, I'm jobless. At the top here, it was me setting up my business on that table right there. So yeah, I was going through it. I was definitely going through it. It's funny now, but it really wasn't funny then. But for the first time in my life, I will say, I genuinely did feel free. I felt empowered, if anything, because win or lose, it was up to me. I came from a unionized, I could sleep all day if I wanted to. And now it was 100% based on the efforts and the inputs that I put in each day. If I won or if I lost, it was up to me. It's empowering. And finally, after that was a cutscene, like after endless trial and error, endless reaching out to landlords, I said they laughed at me. They literally did laugh at me. I secured my first property. And I'm showing you, like, full transparency. It was 828 Wyndham Street in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, kind of near Mount Washington. It had a really nice rooftop patio, and I even went to see it. I drove to Pittsburgh just to see it, to prove to myself that it wasn't like just this online money. I'm not just playing The Sims. Like, I really do have this tangible property. And as you see here, it made a lot of money. And in the name of transparency, I want to show you the high season, the low seasons, everything. So as you can see here, it was making over $10,000 on the high season, the peak seasons, the peak months. And then in the slow season, it was making, $5,000, maybe got a little bit lower than that, maybe $4,500, maybe even $4,000. The rent here was $3,100 all in, for reference, of course, cleaning as well. Then I got my second, then my third, then my fourth, then my fifth, then my sixth, then my seventh, Then I began taking large chunks of apartment buildings at a time. And if you can see here, you can start to see a hint of strategy slowly beginning to take place. These are 4 different apartments, right, in the same building. And I have they look similar. I was taking items that I knew were good and using them across all of the locations, right? I have the same couch across them all, the same TV. They're all very similar. You have to look closely to see that there's actually differences between these 4. So I was creating a strategy, right? Then I began taking multiple units per month. Okay, so that strategy I just said has been extrapolated now because, as you can see, these are very, very similar. This was a 12-unit setup in one building in Pittsburgh. But yeah, I figured it out, right? I went horizontally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I started taking on 4 at a time, then 12 at a time. And eventually, like I just said, it worked. I did build the life I used to dream about, okay? I did. Time freedom, money freedom, location freedom. At the right there was a point where I would just work in the morning and then just bike around Venice Beach. I was in California for quite a bit. And then to the right is the evolution of my logo, right? AWCO, and then obviously where we're at right now. And I came up with this name after walking past RW&Co in the mall at the Oshawa Center. If you know where Oshawa is, I'm sorry. I wish you didn't. That's where that little basin was. Although at this point, the only and co was my dog. The business was generating roughly $200,000 a month in high season in USD. I was still in Canada. And across a full year, we averaged around 36% net profit margins, okay? Like I said here, obviously this is high season. I'm not trying to cherry pick. I think my lowest month that year was 130. It might even be a tiny bit lower. But over the full year, for a more seasonal business, short-term rentals, it averages 36% net margins. I remember that clearly. Some properties, like the second one that I got, were clearing over $100K a year on their own. I blurred this one out of the respect for the landlord. But as you can see, like this location in revenue was made $104,000 USD. And then the rent for this one was $3,400. So for everyone that's like, oh, that's revenue, cool. Like, what's profit? Blah, blah, blah. Show me the profit. Well, I mean, like, you can do the math there for $3,400. It doesn't even matter. You could inflate the cleaning costs. You can inflate the utilities. You can inflate everything. There's still no scenario where $104,000 on $3,400 rent is not a huge profit. Like, check yourself. And again, as I said, I was traveling as I please and just running everything from my laptop. So I did probably what most people do. I was just traveling around, thinking in Peru there, South Africa, California. I was around. I was just around working remotely on my laptop, running this business. And again, from the outside, everything looks great. Like, oh, you made it. But even then, something was still missing, guys. Okay. And I know that sounds spoiled. I know that sounds like you're probably like, oh yeah, something's missing. Sure. But the same feeling came back, I've really made it this time on paper. So why don't I feel that way? Like, how come I feel the same way as I did in that bunker? The same thing, the same thought in my head, okay? Is this as far as your ambition goes? But this time, I finally realized something. What I was really chasing wasn't income or success in business. It was impact. And truthfully, I think this is a paradox because I think you have to get the income, get the success to actually unlock that where you realize that was never what you were chasing in the first place, okay? You have to go through you got to go down the rabbit hole to actually understand that. But my thought was the same. It was impact, okay? I don't care. It turned out, though, I knew this all along. And this is the notebook from 2020, okay? Look at the 10-year goals on the side, okay? Be able to live off passive income if I wanted to. Done. Be able to work remotely if I wanted to. I did that. And then see the little star there, okay? Create something for the world that truly impacts other people's life for the better that I am also able to monetize. So I always knew this. And like, I think that's awesome. When I read those notebooks and I saw that, I was like, damn, like I always knew that I wanted to do this in some way. I think that's cool. The 5-year goals, obviously, I got that first one, but I guess I got the second one, but the third one, own a minimum of 3 properties, in that short time span. If I just went that route, I would still be working that job and then just saving up my income to just like get more properties. So I'm very thankful that I did take the risk that I did because I'm well on my way to those 10-year goals, right? So I teamed up with other big players in the space and we took the exact process that gave us freedom and built it into something that helps others take their shot too. So all of us have our own individual portfolios. We built our own Airbnb businesses And then we've come together to create Vacarya. We named it Vacarya, born from the same Airbnb model that changed our life. Since then, we've helped build and launch over 150 Airbnb businesses for our clients. Some are running a couple of units alongside their careers. Others have scaled past 20 locations and do this full time now. What matters isn't where they are today, truthfully. It's that we were able to play a real part in getting them started on a real path towards freedom through Airbnb, right? That was my 10-year goal, guys, in 2020. It's 2026 now. I'm starting to go in that direction, you see? Because I used to be the one sitting there all those years ago in that bunker, okay? Knowing I was meant for more, but not knowing where to start. And I have a funny feeling that if you're here watching this video at 37 minutes in, you're probably in the same boat. And the reason I share this before the training is so you can learn from my mistakes instead of making them yourself, okay? So, although I do have reasons to make this, I ultimately am building now what I didn't have back then. And that's it. We're beginning to get some momentum.
So
here we
by
got
November,
Dylan.
We might even be hitting $100,000 a month. So technically, we're already over
$100,000 a month.
Before I was with Vacarya, I was working at a restaurant, busting tables, serving. Wasn't that fun? And I think we're on track to hit $500,000. Since joining,
500,000 first
it's given me
year.
It felt amazing. Like, you know, I didn't have to see the property, talk to the owner, nothing like that. All I had to do was pay for the furniture, and they said, here you go, it's set up, go ahead and list it. I listed and I got a booking the same day for a week.
Day he listed, booking for a week, same day. So we're starting to get some momentum there. And as you can see here, those are just a few videos I threw together in this slideshow. We have tons and tons of clients making huge strides in the Airbnb space. We have Kajana, we have Susanna, Avi, Fozzie, Nick, Helen, Kevin. I love Kevin. Fadan, Dennis, Raj. Like, we have clients, as I said, making huge strides in the Airbnb space. Full service clients inside Vacarya. Members in the community, the one that you're in right now. People are genuinely getting time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom through the stuff that we're teaching. Okay? So that's why I'm making this for free. So I hope you can at least appreciate my transparency. Yes, obviously money's cool. I like making money. We all like making money, but that's cooler. And I mean that. And when I remake this video, okay, I want you to be on this. I hope there's so many I can't even put it in a slide. Yeah. That's why I'm making this for free. So if you take anything from this video, okay, anything at all from, I've been rambling for the past 40 minutes. If you take anything from this, okay, if you never start something because it feels risky, your situation will stay the exact same, okay? It will never change. What comes after spring, summer? What comes after summer, fall? And nothing will change, okay? You have to start something, but you do not need to quit your 9 to 5 for this to work, okay? Because you can start Airbnb while keeping your job to lower your risk. You don't have to do what I did, right? You do not need to risk everything or bet the farm like I did, because this can be started in a controlled, strategic way, which is what I'm trying to show you. You do not need to already be an entrepreneur or have business and real estate experience. Skills aren't traits, guys. They're learned through experience, and everyone starts without them. My brain was full of health physics and chemistry and radionuclides and half-lives, and like, there's nothing to do with business, like not even 1%. A lot of you guys actually will have an advantage over me just from working in your jobs. You do not need to figure everything out on your own, because using a proven system and support reduces the mistakes and the timeline by a tenfold, okay? Leverage our community. We've done this 600 times now. You're doing yourself a disservice trying to do this alone instead of leaning on us. And lastly, just understand, okay, if you want to create the life you say you want for yourself, for your family, for your kids, whatever it is, you have to do something, okay? If all you take from the video is that, I'm okay with that. You do have to do something. I don't care if it's Airbnb, truthfully. If that's another business and you succeed, I'm truly happy for you. It's just Airbnb is the one way that I know how to teach you, right? So if you think that Airbnb may be for you, just give yourself a chance to see this all the way through, okay? Just watch the videos, give yourself a chance. It's in your interest to succeed here, obviously. We've already explained. It's also in my interest to help you succeed. So let's do this, like seriously. So you've heard my story. You've heard how I feel about Airbnb. I'll put my small violin, little sad story away, and we're gonna get into understanding the model, okay? So in this chapter, we are going to be talking about the constraints of traditional investing, the Airbnb arbitrage model itself, comparing property ownership and leasing for Airbnb, the weaknesses of Airbnb arbitrage and when buying makes sense. And then we're going to address some common misconceptions. So my promise, by the end of this section, you will view rental arbitrage differently, okay? I firmly believe this. The constraints of traditional real estate investing. So getting your first property takes a lot of upfront cash, okay? This is just for traditional real estate investing. You're working your 9 to 5, you're saving up for a house, you get it. Your income does not change much, but now you have tenants, repairs, vacancies, and a mortgage that has to get paid, whether this month is good or bad, okay? How it performs is also influenced by the market and the economy, which are completely outside your active control. And I'm not saying real estate's bad, real estate's good. I'm just providing a non-biased, objective look at traditional real estate investing. Unless you have an advantage, like buying way under value or pulling capital back out, like something like the Burr method, in the 2010s, you are basically just hoping time and the market do the heavy lifting. This is a fact. Unless you have a competitive edge in real estate, you're a savvy real estate investor, you're just buying and holding and hoping the market works. And guess what? Of course, over a long enough period of time, it works. But I assume you guys want money now, right? Because having money now is what makes the difference. As I said, this is completely fine. This doesn't make it a bad investment. It's a good investment. You will make money, and many of you have made money already in real estate. Objectively speaking, though, we can likely all agree that getting into the market isn't going to change your life in the next few years, okay? Just think about it. It's not going to change your life in the next few years. Since the cash flow is generally small relative to the amount of money invested, a single vacant month or unexpected expense can erase it. Most of the upside exists on paper as equity rather than as usable income, so month to month and even year to year, nothing really changes for you. Again, this isn't good or bad. Equity is powerful. We all know that. People have made tons of money on real estate, so I'm not shitting on real estate. This is just something to consider. Eventually, though, if you do go down the real estate route, you run into a wall with banks. After a few properties, approvals stop being straightforward, and from that point, it usually means bringing in partners or accepting worse terms or getting creative with financing, like private lending and all that stuff to keep building your real estate portfolio. As I've said, real estate is a great long-term path to wealth. That's not really up for debate. The real question for you in your specific situation comes down to timing. Do you need more money now, or are you comfortable with the cash flow you have from your job and investments today? And that wasn't rhetoric. I'd like you to actually answer that to help you make decisions here. Are you comfortable with the cash flow you have from your job and investments today? Real estate, equities, crypto, whatever. Are you comfortable with it? Because this is not about if you should buy real estate, okay? It's about when. Remember this notebook from earlier, okay? Think back to my story. If I never started my Airbnb business and just stuck to my 5-year goal of owning 3 properties, where would I be right now? Well, I'd be in that power plant. There's no scenario where I would not have been in that power plant if I just had 3 properties. And I would also actually be doing pretty bad if I think about how the market has turned out over the past few years in that specific area. So I'd actually just have 3 bad locations. And of course, they would make money over long term, like we know. I'm just speaking in the short term. I would be down money, which leads me here. Guys, at the beginning, cash flow is all that matters. It's the first step that everything else is built on. It's the part that creates room for everything else to happen. The goal is to generate high cash flow first so you can invest into yourself and into assets like real estate at a much faster pace. That right there is how you compress the timeline, not by a few years, but by decades. That's how you make money now. This is how you enjoy wealth now, not when you're 65. This right here is where Airbnb arbitrage comes in. Cash flow. There are very few things I can think of that can create such high cash flow in such a short period of time that you can also realistically execute without years of business experience. Okay? I'll explain more on that in a bit on what I mean by you can reasonably execute without a lot of experience, so don't worry. Now we're going to talk about the actual Airbnb arbitrage model itself. So what is Airbnb arbitrage? So rental arbitrage is when you rent a property and use it for short-term stays with the owner's permission, of course. So you're renting a property and running as a short-term rental business. That's it. Why is Airbnb arbitrage so powerful? Now, Airbnb arbitrage allows you to lease a property and unlock its full earning potential in the short-term market without actually owning it or the associated upfront costs. Meaning, all you need to do is pay for the lease and the furniture compared to a full payment or a full down payment on top of the furniture, taxes, renovations, all of that stuff. But you have the ability to profit on it as if it were your own. So the first part on why Airbnb arbitrage is so powerful is like I just said. Instead of tying your capital into one property, that same money can be used to lease multiple Airbnb units, all generating cash flow. And you can see on the right here, scenario A and B, and I'll break down the nuances and trade-offs later. But when this is executed properly, keyword properly, this is honestly, a realistic depiction of the model. Yes, you need to do it right. Yes, you need to be good. And if you are good, this is what it looks like. Scenario A here, buying one house, $100 down payment. I didn't even factor in the cost of furniture here, okay? Gets you one property and 3% appreciation. Or not, in the short term, if you're not in the right market, but like hypothetically 3% appreciation. Okay. Scenario B, you could lease 8 Airbnb units for $96,000, about $12,000 set up, times 8 units, and get $8,000 a month in average monthly cash flow. And again, I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying to objectively think, is it realistic that you can get $8,000 in cash flow from a one property and 3% appreciation, equity included? No, of course not. And a lot of you guys think you want equity, think appreciation is great, and it is. But what you really want is money. You guys want to make money. Equity is just the vehicle. You guys want money. So at the left here, let's say buying a house takes $100,000 down payment. The same $100,000 could also lease 8 Airbnb units. Each unit costs about $12,000 to launch, all in for setup costs, furniture, etc. 8 times $12,000, $96,000. If each unit generates $1,000 a month, that's $8,000 a monthly cash flow compared to one property and 3% appreciation. Now, let's say instead of buying, we'll give you another example here. Let's say instead of buying, you simply lease the same house. Some assumptions here, obviously the house is in a good area, blah, blah, blah. Leasing the house costs about $17,000 to set up, all in for furniture, supplies, and launch costs. The same house averages $3,000 to $4,000 per month profit, meaning whether you buy or own this, you're using a fraction of the capital needed to own this property and are producing high cash flow, of course. But what I'm saying is, whether you buy this or own this, the only thing that changes is the fixed cost at the front. You are still profiting the same amount, $3,000 to $4,000 a month in profit. Number 2, scalability. Since the upfront capital is low, you can recoup your initial investments quickly and reinvest that same capital into more properties, each one generating additional cash flow. This creates what I call a flywheel effect. Well, it's not what I call it. It's just called the flywheel effect. So this is the arbitrage flywheel, the Vacarya flywheel, okay? Invest into Airbnb, get properties, create cash flow, recoup the funds and reinvest. And there's a few ways that you can pull your cash forward to recoup your funds much faster than you probably initially are thinking right now, where you can like snowball this and the flywheel becomes like out of control. A realistic payback period is 9 months, but depending on your ability to get free upfront rent concessions, you can reduce this payback period to 3 to 4 months. This is the true power behind Airbnb arbitrage, okay? The ability to condense how long it takes to get your initial funds back so you can deploy again. This is how you can create cash flow so fast. This is how I scaled so fast. And I know people that scaled 3 times as fast as me that already had business experience elsewhere. You can put your money into a property, pull the money back out in 4 months, and just do it again. And do it again, and then get more, and then get 4, then get 8, then get 10. And before you know it, you have a huge portfolio. That was oversimplified, but you know what I mean. I'll explain all of that stuff in extreme detail in this video series. Number 3 is timeline and accessibility. So if you don't have the capital for a down payment and you don't want to start with 8 Airbnbs right away, like my example, you don't need to. I didn't. You can start right now with 1 unit. Get it dialed in, prove to yourself it works, and then just start the flywheel from there, just like I did. I obviously had a decent chunk of money saved, living in that crappy basement and having a good job. But the point still stands, right? You can just start with 1. That's what I mean by this is relatively low risk. You can just start with 1 at the side as a side hustle. You can keep your regular job. You can also leverage 0% APR cards or lines of credit if you have a good enough credit to cover setup costs and bridge the launch. That's optional, but it makes this accessible to people who would otherwise be stuck waiting or have their money tied up. To clarify, I don't think it's smart to jump into a new model while you're still learning. Most of our clients leverage credit, but that's because we're doing the setup, we're in control of the inputs. I'll touch base on the whole credit thing in the next video. I just want you to understand the power of it, right? In terms of speeding up rental arbitrage. With the right property, you could put all the furniture down on a 0% APR credit, hypothetically, get to cash flow pretty much immediately, pay a credit card off before the 12 months 0% APR period, and you've just successfully created cash flow off the bank's money. Obviously, there's skill behind that and all that stuff. I'm not saying go get a 0% APR credit card. I'm just showing you why Airbnb arbitrage can be so powerful. Number 4 is flexibility. Both the initial property and daily management can be done 100% remotely, meaning you can target profitable markets with ease. For those outside the US, you can easily generate income in USD. And then the side here, a funny video I took, or a photo. Yes, you can even run your Airbnb business from here. This, of course, takes systems and human resources such as VAs and automations and all that stuff. But if set up correctly, I mean, you can run this anywhere. 100% remotely. Our clients, on average, realistically work on this business to probably 4 hours a week. Even like the really big ones, they'll probably only work like 6 hours a week, truthfully. And then an honorable mention, very quickly, for my Canadians, E2 visa opportunities. So if you're outside the US, this model currently meets all E2 visa requirements. So it can also be a path to moving to the US if that's something you want. At the date of this video, through Vacarya, we have a 100% approval rate. We've never ever been declined an E2 visa status for one of our clients working with our lawyers. At the side here, Andy says, even my attorney and consultant were impressed by the strength of this model and how well it aligned with E2 requirements. So if you're interested in your E2, you don't have to do it like with us, I don't care. I'm just saying, like, regardless, if you do it yourself, this is a good business in the US to operate to get your E2 visa. All that to say, if Airbnb arbitrage is done correctly, it can drastically increase your ability to make money and as a result, change your lifestyle in a very short period of time. Now to bring you back down to earth. All I did there is talk about how great Airbnb arbitrage is and all of its perks and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, this is a business and business is hard. It just is, guys. You don't just follow a few videos and magically become a millionaire like you see on Instagram, okay? It's just not how it works. You saw my story, it's just not how it works. It's unlikely you reach out to a couple properties and just win. If it were that easy, everyone would succeed and the opportunity itself wouldn't exist anymore. If everyone could just watch this video and reach out and instantly start making a ton of money, then this opportunity would not exist for you. So I won't make promises. I'm not going to say just follow the stuff to be a millionaire, okay? What I will give you is logic. I've set up over 600 profitable Airbnb units to date, okay? There's 380 active at this given moment, 378. If you apply the exact inputs that I've done and I'm teaching in this community, and you actually engage and learn, it's logically unlikely you end up with a different outcome other than success in Airbnb. And the biggest difference from your story to mine is that you don't have to do it alone like I did, right? You're in a rare position where the only real variable left is whether you actually take action or sit on the sidelines. That's it. I'm telling you what I know. I'm not gatekeeping it. I'm not hiding it behind any price wall. So if you take action, you'll win. Moving on. Next is there's no such thing as Airbnb arbitrage. There is just Airbnb. You'll hear this a lot, like people saying like, oh, like how can you write? It's not a real business model, but there's no such thing, okay? It's all the same thing. There isn't an Airbnb arbitrage model and an Airbnb ownership model. Okay, guys, there's just the Airbnb model. Regardless if you own or lease, the business model and profit engine is the exact same. Airbnb arbitrage is just a buzzword that was created online. The leasing model has been used in the hotel industry for a very long time. People book short-term stays. Those bookings generate revenue. That revenue pays the costs. Whatever left is profit. That's it. That's the business. If you own the property, your fixed costs are things like mortgage, taxes, insurance, HOA. If you lease the property, your fixed cost is rent and insurance. They show up every month either way. It doesn't matter if you're owning or leasing. Then there are the variable costs: cleaning, supplies and inventory, consumables, utilities, platform fees, all that stuff. Those scale with bookings, again, the exact same whether you own or lease. So when you hear someone say Airbnb arbitrage doesn't work, or they call it a scam or whatever, you now understand that this is the same thing as saying real estate doesn't work or a hotel doesn't work. You see how the sentence no longer makes sense? You are building a hospitality business based on market demand. Nothing more, nothing less. If you believe one Airbnb can be profitable, then logically, there's no reason it suddenly stops working just because you add a few more. The only thing that changes from your first property to our 350th or 378th now is the systems behind it. That's it. And I really want to drive this point home, okay? It's the same thing. They just have different upfront costs. But the actual profit engine, okay, the profit engine that drives a hospitality business is travel demand. Travel demand in a specific market. That's it. So whether you own that house or you lease that house, or that has nothing, not even 1% to do with the demand and the way that you make money on Airbnb. Hilton Hotel's first hotel was rented. You would look it up. The biggest brands right now are becoming incredibly asset light. Big hotel names that you know, hotel chains, builders and owners are buying the hotels, right? Vacant hotels, and they're just putting the name on them, okay? And they're doing property management for hotels after COVID. It's the same thing. It's asset light property management. It's all it is, guys, okay? Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. If your mortgage is $3,000 and your lease is $3,000, that's it. It doesn't change the fact. It doesn't, like, your down payment doesn't matter. Okay, has nothing to do with it. Now, comparing buying for leasing for Airbnb. Now, I'm going to make some big assumptions here, okay, just to show you this example. I want you to understand that, as I said, this is an example. I'm just trying to illustrate in an apples to apples comparison the power of arbitrage compared to buying, and just how they, if you were just to put them side by side, how this actually pans out. So my assumptions here are the person in the next example has the ability to buy a new house 3 years in a row, okay? So they obviously have a certain amount of income, blah, blah, blah. Again, hypothetical. The person understands STR markets. So they understand how to invest in STR. All houses are listed on Airbnb and equally profitable, just to make this easy. And of course, no scenario could ever be as linear as this, okay? So I'm not trying to cherry pick or create scenarios in favor of one or the other. I'm just trying to illustrate the point. So the left side is ownership, the right side is leasing. So the year one of ownership, right? You put down $100,000 to buy a $500,000 house. You invest $17,000 in furniture and setup costs, all in capital, $117,000. You own one property, it generates $3,000 per month in profit. You earn 3% annual appreciation on the $500,000 house, okay? Your capital is fully tied up, no ability to buy into property, obviously, because you just drained your bank account. And on average, assuming the market likes you, you will generate about $51,000 per year, with $36,000 of the cash flow being from Airbnb and 15% of the cash flow from equity. So this isn't even traditional real estate investing versus Airbnb. This is actually just buying versus leasing for Airbnb itself. Okay. On the right side, you invest $70,000 per property in furniture setup and launch costs, at least 3 houses, right? All in capital, $51,000. So for less than half, you control 3 properties. It generates $9,000 per month in profit on Airbnb on average. And then of course, you have the downside, which is no appreciation or equity being built. So you have high cash flow. You only use $51,000 compared to the $117,000. You have the ability to keep scaling if you wish, because you only use $51,000, and it generates about $108,000 per year, all cash, approximately. This is what it would look like in the first year, okay? Year 2, the person buys another $100,000 house. Same thing, you invest $70,000, all in $170,000. They now own 2 properties. They now generate $6,000 per month in profit on Airbnb, and they earn 3% annual appreciation on both houses. So your capital is fully tied up again. You just drained your bank account from saving up all year. No ability to buy another property until next year. And now you generate $102,000 per year with $72K in cash and $30K in equity. Again, the assumption the market is going up 3% every year. Perfectly, it's not going down or higher. Just going to use conservative averages. And then leasing on the year 2 is your money is fully recouped from last year. You invested $17,000 per property in furniture and setup and launch costs to lease 5 more houses. All in capital, $85,000. You now control 8 properties. They generate $24,000 per month in profit on Airbnb. Again, no appreciation or equity being built, but you only used $81,000 compared to the $117,000 again, so you're still a little conservative, and you have now generated $288,000 per year. Okay, let's take a look. As you can see, year 2, this is the difference between buying and leasing on Airbnb. So when someone says, what about the appreciation? What about the equity? Guys, you don't want equity. You want money, right? Of course. You're trying to invest in equity, in the equities market, in investments, because you want money. Let's take a look at the third year. So you put down $100,000 again, blah, blah, blah. You now own 3 properties. They generate $9,000 per month on Airbnb. You earn 3% annual appreciation. Your capital is tied up. No ability to buy a property until next year. You probably can't buy that property at all because you're out. You can't get a mortgage again for your 4th house. You generate about $150,000 per year, $108K in cash, $45K equity. Pretty good. On the right side, your money is fully recouped from last year because your cash flow is so high. You invest $17,000 per property in furniture, setup, and launch costs, at least 8 more houses. Okay, all in capital to this is $136. So you've effectively doubled, and it's still nothing compared to your cash flow that you have in the last month. So you have a bit bigger investment, but you've scaled so fast now that this doesn't really matter. The left side is bound to the 9 to 5 hours that you worked. The right side, the cash flow, is from your business that you're actively operating. You now control 16 properties. They generate $48,000 per month in profit on Airbnb. Again, no appreciation or equity being built. You used $136K to set up, but we're making a lot, and you now generate $288,000 per year, all cash. Look, guys, Year 3, $576,000 in year 3 compared to 153. This is apples to apples. And if you want me to go really apples for apples, okay, in the first scenario, if I maxed out, we only use $51,000 on the rental side. If we maxed out that 100K and used the 96,000, or as much as we could get, as many houses as we could get, we would be at $1.152 million in the third year, assuming that we scale the same amount. As you can see on the left here, 6, 16, then we doubled to 32. And please, understand this is an illustration. Nothing could ever happen like this on both sides for buying or leasing, because there's only so many home run houses and you're going to pick them as the year goes on. So you won't cash flow for all 12 months on all of the houses. Okay. So there's obviously some assumptions made. I'm just trying to have you look at the power of the model itself. Look. And here's the thing, like I just said, obviously there's no scenario where you find 8 houses, set them all up at the exact same time, and have every unit on both sides generate the same income, or when someone in that starting position has the cash flow to buy a $500,000 house every year. This is an apples to apples comparison meant to simply illustrate the scalability of rental arbitrage. Do note though, although this is operationally unrealistic, okay, although this isn't operationally realistic, I have seen these numbers get this crazy when someone starts with serious capital or prior entrepreneurship experience. This is just a fact. I know like a handful, actually, that have done these numbers in the first year, okay? Because they had capital to deploy and they just understand business. So although that whole thing that I just said is an apples to apples comparison, it's a little bit unrealistic on the actual operation side on how it panned out, these numbers are doable. I pretty much did that in my first year and my second and my third. It's not that, this is doable. It is. But I now want to talk about the weaknesses of Airbnb arbitrage and when buying actually makes sense, okay? So the weaknesses with the Airbnb arbitrage, there's a few of them. Lease dependency. So even if a unit is performing extremely well, it can still be lost at renewal, okay? The landlord can choose to sell, raise rent beyond what makes sense. Your business continuity is always tied to these relationships. This is just a fact. Number 2, operational intensity. Each unit is a physical operation that needs to be cleaned, maintained, stocked, priced, monitored, etc. for hospitality, right? It's the hospitality business. The bigger you get, the more systems, people, and oversight you need to keep everything working at the same standard. Arbitrage scales really fast, as I just showed you, but it scales operational complexity just as fast, meaning you have to learn that stuff. And if you don't learn it, you'll just have a high revenue business and make no profit, which is brutal, which takes me here, right? The bigger the operation, the tighter the margins. So more units mean more staff, more cleaners, more maintenance, more coordination, more management. Those add up quickly and naturally reduce margins as you scale. The end result, okay, of blind scaling is pushing this too far and ending up like companies like Sonder. They just kept building and eventually it collapsed. There isn't literally a ceiling, but there is a healthy ceiling where it maybe makes sense to stop growing and optimize your current portfolio instead. Number 4, no stickiness or compounding. You're only as good as your last month every month, okay? We know the importance of cash flow, but it all falls out the back end. Great businesses have continuity. What they built last year helps them this year. With arbitrage, if you stop operating, well, that's it, right? That's it. You just stop making money. Now, we have a direct website. We have an email list. We have all that stuff that creates a high volume of return bookings for our clients. If you want to look at the website, it's called stayvacarya.com. It's like our version of Airbnb. All of our clients' listings are on here. We have nice QR codes and stuff set up in all of the properties. So each client and unit benefits off one another since we're in so many cities. And it becomes a pretty good flywheel. We get tons of repeat bookings, which gives us a pretty big advantage over just Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, stuff like that. So that's how we mitigate this for our clients. But for the vast majority, right, and even us to a degree, we're still only as good as the last month. We don't have anything compounding. Lastly is platform control risk. Your business is built on platforms. They control the rules, the visibility, the fees, enforcement, and policies change. Everything can change, and those decisions are made unilaterally, right? You have no leverage and very little recourse when things shift. You are at their beck and call, the platforms. Whatever they do, you got to roll with it. That's it. Do understand, though, these are not specific to Airbnb arbitrage. All businesses have their weaknesses, and many overlap with these, okay? Weaknesses are not deal breakers. They are simply to be considered. Majority of these surface way down the road. I just want you to understand the facts. I'm just being transparent. Those are real things to consider. Moving on. When buying makes sense. So, hypothetically, now that you've created meaningful cash flow through Airbnb, you are somewhere around here, right? Maybe you have a nice car, whether you're traveling on your laptop, I don't know, you're going on vacations. It's me and Shannon. You get the point, okay? I simply mean freedom. Whatever this looks like to you, okay? This might mean just spending time with your family on a vacation, like whatever freedom means to you, that's what I mean here. But that also means you are somewhere around here, okay? This is a depiction of cash flow in general, not Airbnb arbitrage cash flow. But what I'm saying is that whole continuity thing, right? You're making tons of money, but you have no continuity, and it's just falling out the back end. So you have high cash flow, and that's about it. And high cash flow is great, but it's risky. Remember when I said it isn't if you should buy a property, it's when. Well, this would likely be it. Because once you've created meaningful cash flow, it now makes sense to solidify your position and upgrade to purchasing properties using the cash flow created by leasing. Now, you can use the knowledge you've built in the STR market to enter almost any housing market you want, purchase a property, generate strong Airbnb cash flow while building equity at the same time, and operate it yourself without a property manager taking 20% revenue, right? Or you can move it into small multifamilies like duplexes, triplexes, and similar properties. You have a bunch of cash, so now you can use it. You see, it was never if you should lease or buy. That's never even the conversation, okay? It was when. There's a sequence to this, and arbitrage plays a critical role in that sequence. To me, Airbnb arbitrage is like starting a fire with kindling. It ignites fast and gets the fire going quickly. Once the fire is strong, you then add the big logs, which is buying, so it can burn for years. Right? But you can't get the fire started without the kindling. Have you guys ever tried to start a fire with just the big logs? That's what it's like. That's how slow it is just starting with real estate, okay? When you have models like this that can condense that learning curve and that timeline by so much, you're just adding kindling to the fire, okay? Eventually, you're not choosing between leasing or buying either. You're simply running an Airbnb business and taking deals based on the numbers and the returns on both sides. Hopefully you see what I mean by this. This is just Airbnb. It's not about leasing or buying or whatever, okay? You just have an Airbnb business, and it's about the numbers. If you have a great property you want to buy and it makes sense, you have the cash flow, and yeah, awesome. You have a nice deal lined up for Airbnb, the numbers are great, you know the landlord, yeah, take it. You see, you are a hospitality business. That's all it is. And if that already sounds good, it actually goes further, okay? There's an additional layer that we call the STR loophole, and it can dramatically reduce how much tax you pay. I'm not going to go too deep in here. This is just a quick sneak peek of what's possible. So when you get to the point where you start buying properties, right, you can actually run a cost segregation and do a pretty big write-off against your active income. So you're buying the properties, you're getting equity, you're getting cash flow, and you're getting a tax reduction. As I say here, you purchase a property for Airbnb as you were already. You already were. You order a cost segregation study. This breaks the property into components like floors, cabinets, appliance, lighting, furniture, all of that stuff. Anything with a life under 20 years qualifies for accelerated depreciation at 100%. With 100% bonus depreciation back in 2025, those qualifying components can be fully written off in year one instead of spread out over the decades. That write-off creates a large paper loss, and that loss can be used to offset your active income to reduce or even eliminate your tax bill. So if you look at this on the right here, this person paid themselves $150,000 in W-2 income, okay? And they found $155,000 bonus depreciation from their cabin purchase, meaning they have fully deducted the $155K off their $150K and got a full tax deduction. They paid zero taxes. There's a bit of nuance here because you have to like self-manage for X amount of hours and stuff like that. Don't worry about any of this yet. I just want you to understand what's possible. You're leasing, you're buying, you're getting tax write-offs, you're making a lot of money. And this all started because you decided to lease a property on Airbnb, as I just said. All because you started leasing properties on Airbnb. Done in a way where you don't have to quit your job to get started or take any unnecessary risks. And do you see what I mean now when I say there's no such thing as Airbnb arbitrage? You're just building an Airbnb hospitality business. Leasing is simply the easiest first step to enter the real estate market, get out of your 9 to 5, create the cash flow you need, and most importantly, start living the life you want now, not in 30 years. And if you don't have the desire to build a large business, that's completely fine. Many of our clients run small portfolios that generate even an extra 5 to 10K per month and only take a few hours a week to manage. As you see here, Dennis has a couple houses. He has huge margins because he only has a few, so his expenses are so low. This is extremely achievable. Like 2 good houses, 2 home run houses, and you're making 15K a month in September. It's not even high season. I mean, at the net margins, what is that? 7,500? It's just a kid. Like, we're not building rocket ships here, guys. We're not. All we're doing is just finding houses that we think can make money on Airbnb, furnishing them, and then giving them to travelers for short-term stays. That's all we're doing. And unless you have a very specific skill set you can package and sell for huge profits, or you have a deep expertise in sectors like AI or software or something that's extremely lean, right, that has a very easy fulfillment. After years now of being in and around business and meeting tons of people in different industries, I still think, to this day, I still in 2026 have a very hard time thinking of another level 1 business opportunity that can compete with Airbnb arbitrage. And this is not me being biased. This is me being very objective. I've seen it. On top of the obvious bonuses like accessibility, low capital needed, low barrier to entry, all that stuff, this model leans so heavily on existing platforms that you don't actually need to build many of the traditional business components yourself, many of the skills, like marketing as a whole, payments, SEO, websites, reviews, tax handling, insurance are all handed for you, right? They're all handled. All you have to do is lease the property, get some pictures, and throw it on. And all this stuff is handled. Imagine trying to start this business without those platforms and building everything from scratch. If you actually think about that, that's what starting most other businesses look like. You need to create a website like stayvacarya.com. You need to get traffic there, paid ads, organic, to the degree it can pay your rent the first month. If you actually really think about that, this is like the crutches provided for a business like this that can generate such high cash flow. I know it's a little bit annoying sometimes leaning on the platforms because they have the control, blah, blah, blah. But they've made it that the skills you need to actually win here are not hard. With Airbnb, you only have 2 real problems you need to solve. 1, get properties to say yes to you, obviously. And 2, manage them well. That's it. At scale, that turns into building a property acquisition funnel and solid systems and operations. But structurally, it's still only those 2 things, right? You just need get properties to say yes and you need to manage them. And then what that looks like at the end is you obviously have a funnel for new properties coming in, and you have a bunch of different stuff to operationalize and systemize on the back end to facilitate all the different locations that you have. But it's the same thing, right? In the grand scheme of business, do you really think that you can't find a few properties, throw some furniture in them, and keep them clean? And again, this isn't rhetorical. Actually ask yourself that question. In the grand scheme of business, do you really think you can't find a few properties, throw some furniture in them, and keep them clean? Of course you can. This is basic commerce. Basic, right? You can do it. So if you are serious about Airbnb arbitrage, you are exactly where you need to be. I am now going to quickly rapid fire the biggest misconceptions about Airbnb arbitrage, and then I'll dive into the training curriculum and show you exactly what you will learn. Okay. Addressing common misconceptions. Airbnb isn't profitable anymore. It's oversaturated in 2026 and travel demand is going down. So guys, people say Airbnb isn't profitable anymore because they read big national headlines and assume that it applies everywhere. But projections still show short-term rental growth in North America and globally. And even more importantly than that, that's not even how travel or real estate even works, right? Travel demand isn't up or down or all at once. Some cities slow down, others stay strong, some grow even more. Airbnb has always been market specific. It's not about Airbnb overall. It's about the right unit in the right submarket with the right demand, pricing, and operations. And when you cater to the right audience, this matters even less. People still travel for work no matter what. If anything, when travel does get impacted, domestic travel often increases relative to international trips, so demand doesn't disappear, it simply shifts. Number 2, Airbnb is a coaching scam. It's always tied to some online course or Instagram, and while I do agree with you there, I do, but the model was sound long before Airbnb arbitrage was even a phrase, right? Hilton's first hotel was leased to coal miners, actually. Look it up. Asset-light hospitality has always worked. What changed wasn't the model, it was the marketing. So A wave of people secured a few properties and basically realized they could just make money faster selling coaching because the margins are so good on service type products like that. And it kind of fell victim to the whole coaching wave of like screenshots of revenue and cars and all that stuff. And the noise, all that noise did make the whole thing look a bit like, did add a degree of skepticism, but the foundations are 100% solid. That's the marketing, right? I'm teaching you the model. If it works for Hilton, and Hilton has become what it has today, if it works for many parts in Europe, okay, it can work for you. Number 3, I like this one. If Airbnb is so good, why are you just building it for others instead of doing it yourself? It's a valid question. And to answer that, we do it ourselves. And our portfolios absolutely pump money. 2, as I said, we got to a point where we were taking on so many deals, or we had so many deals coming in our pipeline, that we couldn't even take them on anymore. So they were just getting lost or given up. We also saw what happened to other big companies like Sonder, who recently just went bankrupt, Front Desk, that just like blindly scaled into this massive business with razor thin margins and all these employees, and they went belly up. This way, for us, we create a win-win scenario where our clients get to make tons of money with healthy portfolios, healthy size portfolios. They get access to all of our software, our expert revenue managers, leverage our direct booking websites that have a huge advantage over just Airbnb. And we also get to benefit from the sourcing fees and not being so strained operationally, right? Meaning we solve their problems, right? They get money, and we solve their own problems in regards to scaling that we've seen firsthand have taken out other companies, similar to ours at one point. And to be honest, guys, this question to me is like saying, if McDonald's is so good, if it's such a good restaurant, why did they franchise? I mean, to me, I think if you want to get to the next level, if you want to, make millions, I think you need to impact millions. It's just my 2 cents. Creating something where clients get to make a ton of money and we get to create this big, awesome community will always make more sense to me than just blindly scaling our business as high as we can conceivably get to and let our margins get pinched. I don't know. We have bigger goals than that. Number 4, why would a landlord or property management allow this? I guess I still have this thing here. But landlords and PM are chasing passive income and units filled. What they want is guaranteed rent, no vacancy or turnovers, low hassle, and a property that stays in great condition. When you explain it properly and present it professionally, you're offering exactly what most landlords already want. This all comes down to how you say it, which I will teach to you, so don't worry. And getting a landlord's position is a skill you can simply just learn. It's just a skill, okay? It's far from impossible. But they're looking for no vacancies, low hassle, a property in great condition, guaranteed rent. That's why they'll allow it. And I'll teach you this in the outreach process video. Number 5, I still have this little paragraph here as well. Is Airbnb arbitrage actually allowed? It's a very common one in the comment sections on Instagram and stuff. It's not even allowed. It's illegal. People get hung up on legality because they think it's either illegal everywhere or allowed everywhere, right? It's just not how it works. In some cities, this is completely allowed and basically open game. In others, there are tighter regulations, and in some places, you just can't operate unless you're in the right zoning. That's normal. Those aren't red flags, they're just hurdles. As long as you're operating within municipal law, which you will be, there's no issue. So guys, you get it now, hopefully. You understand how the model works. You see how powerful it can be when it's executed right. You understand there is logically no reason why you can't succeed here. You know the pros, the cons, the misconceptions I just went over. You know the full strategy. Now the fun part starts, okay? Let me show you exactly what we'll be covering together inside this community. Here's our training overview. So welcome. This is the video you're watching right now. We have starting your business, finding a profitable market, the outreach process, running the numbers, setting up your Airbnb, creating a listing that converts, and property management tools. And on the school community, it's all right here. I also don't have the videos yet. Course welcome is the full introduction you're watching right now. Starting your business, I'll walk you through creating the company, branding, registering the business, opening accounts, all of that stuff. Also funding. We have finding a profitable market. So the goal is to decide whether a market is pursuing further. I show how we look at demand, supply, unit size, and location. We have tons of resources and stuff down here I'll get to in a minute in each of the videos. We have the outreach process. We cover what types of properties to target, where to find them, how to position your company, and how to approach landlords and property managers in a way that gets yeses. We have running the numbers. This video covers how to analyze a real property once you have interest and actual terms to work with. This is where you compare the unit to what's already performing in the market. We have how to actually set up your Airbnb. This video covers the full process for setting up a new Airbnb remotely, who you need to hire, how the setup actually just unfolds when you're doing it, what to budget for, all that stuff. We have creating a listing that converts So this video shows how to set up an Airbnb listing properly. I also show you the algorithm, how the Airbnb algorithm actually works, all of that stuff. And the last one is property management tools. So this video walks through how to actually run your Airbnb once it's live. We go over the core systems that handle guest messaging, pricing, scheduling, cleaning, and how to set everything up so the day-to-day is smooth. So hopefully you can run your Airbnb with only about 4 hours a day as well. I also add little valuable posts here at the bottom that I think are fitting and valuable to you. They'll probably change a little bit throughout this as the community evolves. Let's get back to the keynote here. Now let's talk about what you actually get as a member just for being here. So the video series and the weekly live calls are only part of what's included, okay? I've decided to add more to this community for one reason: to remove friction so you actually do this. I'm trying to incentivize you to the best of my ability to actually start, because I know when you start, there's a real likelihood that you make money from this. Number one, what you get as a member: all of my resources to get a landlord to say yes, okay? You get the landlord outreach templates, you get the landlord calling scripts, word for word, the exact stuff I've said, the exact stuff I've used to get landlords to say yes. We have our lease addendum that you get signed with the lease. This is our lawyer's lease addendum, just to clarify. It's not ChatGPT. And you also get our professional pitch deck and company one-pager. So this is a customizable copy of my pitch deck I use when presenting our company to landlords, and also a clean one-pager. All you have to do is simply add your branding and photos, and it's yours. This is the exact one. This is my company's one I'm giving to you, and I have here in brackets. I genuinely had to think twice about giving this to you guys, because I was like, damn, like, it's pretty good, you know? It's pretty good. Here it is. This is what it looks like. Here's an example. I'll actually show you the example. Get here. So this is what I'll be giving you. This is just my company pitch deck template. You attach it to the email when you reach out. Again, I'll explain all this stuff, but just know it's 100% yours. And all you have to do, I have the link to this template attached just below this video here. Actually, it's gonna be attached in the outreach process video. All you have to do is click edit template or view template and create a copy. And then you have the exact same one as me. So just add your logo, your company name, all that stuff, which I'll help you with in the next video as well. All you have to do is just like add your colors and your logo to this, and that's it. You can use it, and it's super effective. We also have the company one-pager, similar to this, but it's nice and clean. It's even printable for networking events, stuff like that. I had great success with both. You can just keep the picture. I don't even care. And same thing, you just edit the template, make a copy over there, file, make a copy, and then it's yours. Add your brand colors, obviously get rid of Vacarya, add your own logo, your company name, and your website, email, and you're off to the races for free, 100% yours. You also get Vacarya's full market analysis resource, okay? So you get custom market comparison sheets, so a purpose-built Excel sheet that compares your exact property against nearby short-term rentals to ground every deal in real market data. Scenario-based property analysis, so a structured model that breaks your deal analysis into worst case, middle case, and best case scenarios so you understand downside, baseline, and upside before committing. This is the exact tool we use, guys. Plug and play profit calculator, so a fully functional calculator where you input your numbers to clearly see cash flow, margins, and whether the deal actually works. I will show you how to do all of this stuff in the how to find a profitable market video and the running the numbers video. We'll be using this almost exclusively. Lastly, I have an AirDNA discount. It's only 10%, but it's still 10% off. It's not an affiliate or like we don't get paid or anything. You just get 10% off of AirDNA just for being here. So this is the market research tool we use to analyze properties. Again, I'll show you how to use all that stuff. But yeah, you get it for a bit cheaper. This is the actual market analysis resource. I'll open this up for you. Again, don't worry, I'll show you how to use all this stuff. Here's an example and how we do comparative analysis on the properties. This will be yours, and then you create a best case, a mid case, and a worst case scenario. I'll go through this with you step by step, and then at the end, we take the mid case and the worst case, and we run it through the ROI calculator, and we find out our break-even time, the first year profit, first year ROI, profit over the lease, and ROI across the lease. Not perfect. I would never tell you that any tool is absolutely perfect, but this is it's pretty damn close, and you have it for free. Number 3 is full access to the Vacarya Masterclass course, right? This video series was originally the first of 5 parts. The full training was reserved exclusively for private Vacarya clients. I've chosen to release all of it for free here inside this community, but I've made access to the rest of the masterclass as unlocks by level inside the community as an incentive for you to participate and engage with each other. Guys, the unlocks are ridiculously easy. I'm not gatekeeping here. The first unlock of 10 plus more hours of content is level 2. If you just engage with a couple comments or a couple posts in the community or make a post, you get level 2. I'm doing this to incentivize you. I don't care about the unlocks or whatever. I'm doing this to incentivize you to communicate with each other and network with each other because I know it's going to help you and I know that's what you guys need to win anyways. And also, I am trying to create a big community, as you know, it's not a monetary play. So I will give you access to, 40 hours of these videos I've made for our private clients, just to contribute to the community a bit. I think it's a fair trade. And just to clarify, this actually was $5,000. I didn't just make that number out of thin air like most people do. People have paid $5,000 for this. But I decided if I want to make the impact that I say I want to make here in this video, then I don't care about, $5,000. I can make a much bigger impact by just making this available for free. So I did. Here's what's actually inside. So the module 1, Airbnb launch, which is the one you're watching now, I'm redoing it. Module number 2 is operations. So learn the exact operational systems you need to run your Airbnb business at scale. Number 3 is automations. So learn how to build the systems and team that free you from the day-to-day work. Number 4 is expansion. Learn how to scale your Airbnb as fast as humanly possible. Number 5 is performance. Learn how to maximize Airbnb revenue and profits. Just by hitting level 2, okay? Just by hitting level 2, you make one post, you're level 2. You get full access to the complete Vacarya property management template as well, which is the exact system we use to manage our own portfolio and the same one we provide to our clients. Okay, this is the kind of thing most people would sell, and yes, you'll probably see it recycled in coaching offers now that I've made this available. But my goal of creating the best Airbnb resource in the industry is bigger than that, so I'm just putting it out publicly. I don't care. And it's not rinky-dink. It's really powerful. Let me show you. So we have a spot for all of our unit information, all of our extra fees, additional purchases, review management, maintenance requests. On the lead generation side, we have new property tracking. We have all the scripts to actually, what to actually say. I even have a job offer for when you want to bring someone on your team. I have all the tasks for your new employees. I have their schedule. I have their onboarding checklist. I have another job offer. I have the exact setup checklist that you need to do. If you just follow this, you'll have your complete Airbnb setup. You won't skip a step. I have the furniture and supplies checklist, everything that you need for every unit. Everything is in here, okay? This is how you actually keep track and how you systematize having multiple units going and still only working a few hours a week. So this is it. And it took me a lot of time to get to this point where it runs so well. And all of our clients use it, and you can use it too, just for getting to level 2. This is the stuff that, not even this actually, but you'll see stuff like this on Instagram from all these coaches and stuff, but they'll never actually give it to you. They'll just show you, right? Now, you earn points in this community by creating posts, commenting on posts, and other members like and comment on your posts. That's it. Meaning, if you simply show up, okay, just comment once in the blue moon. Just comment organically when you want to participate, or just post when it makes sense with you. You'll naturally earn points and progress with the community to unlock everything. A simple introduction post will probably get you to level 2 alone. And I have one more thing. Bonus. Free one-on-one strategy call with me. If you complete the 3 tasks below to show me you are serious and send me proof to my school DMs, I will open up my calendar where you'll be able to book a one-on-one strategy call with me. I will. But to prove to me you're serious, you have to do 3 things. And I think that's fair. Complete the entire first module of the Vacarya Masterclass, the one you're watching now, the 8 videos. Number 2, make your introduction post in the community. I have a template for you in the description at the bottom. Just copy and paste it and plug in your words. And number 3, attend just one of our Wednesday at 7 p.m. Airbnb hour calls. That's it. If you just do that, I am happy to make myself available to those who are seriously trying to win here. And this isn't a pitch, okay? I'm not going to pitch you. We can talk for 30 minutes and I will help you with your current situation and try my best to help you get to where you're trying to go, okay? And it's right here. Make your introduction post, watch all 8 videos, attend one live call, and then you get the free one-on-one strategy call. I don't know if I can make it any easier, right? If I make it easier, then 2 people will join, that's not valuable, and then I don't have enough time, right? So this is the bare minimum friction, I think, to prove to me that you are serious, and I'll help you. And then inside the school community, you just go to Classroom, and it's right here. It'll be locked for you, obviously. But once you do those 3 steps, you send me the screenshot of proof. I will unlock this for you, which I'll show you. So it'll unlock, and then you have access when you click in to book that one-on-one call with me. If you are here, you are executing, and for that, I'm happy to help you out. So to wrap things up, you get all my resources to get a landlord to say yes. Vacarya's full market analysis resource, full access to the Vacarya Masterclass, including our property management template, and a bonus one-on-one free strategy call with me where I will help you out, all 100% free, just for being here, because I want you to win. I really do. So that's it. This is everything I have to offer you. I've removed as many barriers as I humanly can from behind this screen, okay? The only variable left is whether you take action on it, and that's the truth. Which brings us here. Setting your goal. Understanding Airbnb is the first part, but execution comes from having a clear goal and daily actions behind it. It just does. I'm going to teach you the theory. I'm going to give you as many tools, everything in my arsenal that I have to give you, but you still have to execute. You still have to step up to the plate and swing the bat, right? So, as I said, I'm going to leave you with this. Take 2 minutes and do what every past success story in here did first. Every single person that I've showed you throughout this video that has had even remote success has done this, okay? Confirm your dream outcome. Take a moment to clearly picture what success with Airbnb actually looks like for you. Not what sounds impressive or cool, but what you personally want your life and income to look like. Number 2, find your goal number. Decide on the specific number you want to generate with Airbnb. For some people, that's a few thousand a month. For many, it's $5,000 to $10,000 per month. For others, it's much more. The only requirement is that it's honest. Introduce yourself to the community. So use the template below to introduce yourself and clearly state your dream outcome and goal number. This is about making it real. Your intro does not need to be impressive. It's just an intro. Okay, you're just introducing yourself. Just make it real. Make it authentic. And lastly, just commit to finishing the video course. Okay, guys, I know I've already said this, but at the very least, see this through to the end and understand what's actually possible. As you know, as I've showed you, Airbnb was the single biggest shift in my trajectory. There's no reason, logical reason, it can't do the same for you. Okay? Take 2 minutes and do these. The introduction post is just below this video. If I go to school, it's right here, right? Make your introduction post. Add our Wiki Live Q&A to your calendar. Make your introduction post. It takes you right here. All you have to do is copy it like so. There's an example there if you wish. Go back, go to community, write something, and that's it. Title, introduction, name. It's obviously you. Select category, introduction. That's it. And just fill in the blanks, okay? I'll comment personally, I promise. Other people will comment and engage. This will probably get you to level 2 alone, to be perfectly honest with you. Then you have access to everything just because you made an introduction post. I don't know if I can make it easier than that, guys. I really don't. So coming back to the keynote here, we're through all this, takes me to the summary. We're at the end of the video. So do these now, guys. Make your introduction posts, okay? Just make it. You'll get to level 2. Add the next live Q&A to your calendar. This is where you'll get all the context. You can ask me personally any question regarding Airbnb. I'm not sure if I can have these up forever. It's just, a lot of my time, but I will, as long as you see that below the video, then it's good. And I'm happy to help you out. Number 3, complete the video series. And if you do nothing else, just do those 3 and see where it takes you. The ball is now in your court. I've given you everything that I have, like seriously. And lastly, if you want help with this, if you want to do this your own, this community is all you will ever need, and you will skip a ton of mistakes, tons of trial and error, tons of money lost just from being here. That's a fact. I will do my best to help you. Number 2, if you want to skip the trial and error and have us set up and launch your Airbnb business for you, we can help if we have open spots. Okay, you can do that at hostvacarya.com/book. Everything that we just went through from A to Z in this welcome video, we will do for you, and we will give you a cash flowing Airbnb in 30 days. But, okay, I don't want you to jump on it. I want you to watch the full video series first, then you can decide which route you want to take, okay? Both paths lead to success, not trying to sell you here, okay? It's just you want to pay with money or time. It's just the truth. So go through the video series. If you do decide that you want to book a call with us and explore what that would look like, you can just go to hostvacarya.com/book. We have our video here, click get started, and then there's a form that comes right here for you. It literally takes 20 seconds, as you can see. It's like 6 things here. That's it, guys. We also have testimonial.io/Vacarya. If you do want to leave any honest feedback or share your experience, don't do this yet. I want you to actually go through the video series, right? Or at least start the video series. And then if you do want to leave any feedback or share your experience, you're free to do so. I would greatly appreciate it. This is like a help me help you kind of thing. And yeah, let's get your business started. Next up, the next video right away. We're going to get your business started. I will see you there, and thank you for watching. Best of luck.